My name is Judge Cheryl Moss. I am a retired judge recently. I've been a family court judge for 20 years. And from 2018 to 2020, I was the first judge to preside over Nevada's first gambling treatment diversion court. I've studied in the field of problem gambling because of my late mother, Dr. Raina Nora. She was kind of a pioneer in the treatment of problem gamblers, particularly with veterans, and she worked for the Veterans Hospital. And ever since I was a teenager, I've been exposed to her works and her presentations and took an interest in problem gambling. The Gambling Treatment Diversion Court is a very unique court. It specifically addresses people who have gone through the criminal justice system and have elected to go through diversion. And the court was created, like I said, 2 years ago, and it was by way of legislative enactment. And so when the court was created, we accepted cases from the criminal court, and the goal is to provide treatment and recovery. There's monitoring, and how the court operates is we work as a team. So there are team members, and we help people along their way to recovery and healthy lives. My gambling court participants, when I ran the gambling court, came from all walks of life. And the gambling disorder doesn't discriminate. And so everybody from different careers, different occupations, different ethnic backgrounds have come through my courtroom. People with gambling disorders, if they commit a crime that is in furtherance of a gambling addiction, for instance, whether it be embezzlement or theft, but excluded are crimes of violence or violence towards others. But normally it's a monetary type crime, so theft and embezzlement are normally what we would see in the Gambling Treatment Diversion Court. I've got participants that come in all the time, and some of them haven't been treated yet, and they are a mess. They're in chaos, and what we do is we stabilize them, and we address immediate needs, and then we work on top of that, and for them to continue to make progress. And it becomes sort of a little tight-knit community when I see them in court appearances, and it's a very rewarding experience to see the progress that they've made. And I like to think Gambling Treatment Diversion Court is their court, and they make the court succeed based on how much effort they put into it and genuine motivation to lead a healthy life. And so that is what is really cool about Gambling Treatment Diversion Court, and how we can really make an impact and a difference. And they really appreciate it. They really appreciate it. From a broader perspective, there is definite beneficial aspects of the gambling court. First of all, the gambling court can save the taxpayer money and save the government and community money than having to incarcerate. Most of the participants have never been arrested before, and this is their first time coming through the criminal justice system. And so incarceration is obviously not the answer in some of these cases. And these people can get help and treatment, because there is no treatment that I'm aware of in the prison facilities. And so if they're not getting treatment, they're not going to get help. And when they leave incarceration and still not get any help, then they're still in their addiction, and they might be more prone to commit a crime due to their gambling disorder. With the gambling court, the purpose is to obviously rehabilitate them, get them into treatment, stabilize them, and get them on a relapse prevention plan and a recovery plan so that they can lead healthy lives. And participants, they all have family or girlfriends or boyfriends or spouses or grandkids, And family is a big integral part of their treatment and recovery. And if we keep them out of incarceration, we are saving a lot of money. No matter what state you're in, it costs money to incarcerate somebody, and it doesn't serve really any purpose. The public community can certainly will certainly benefit by having a gambling treatment diversion court. Just to give an example, in Nevada, the cost of incarceration of one individual can run about $24,000 a year. Now let's look at the state of New Jersey. The cost of incarceration there of one person is about $61,000 and per person annually. So if we can find those potential participants who are eligible to participate in gambling treatment diversion court, then certainly the numbers can be translate into substantial benefit and cost savings for the taxpayers, for the government, and for the community in general. Now, other benefits are being able to restore relationships and strengthen their relationships with their family members, reuniting them with their children. And then when they come out of a GTDC court program and they've graduated from the program, they become productive citizens in the community. Not only will they become productive citizens, healthy employment, and being able to continue to pay restitution if they have restitution, but then they will pay it forward and be peer mentors to their other future participants and could become collaboratives with the court as well in that sense to kind of pay it forward in terms of what they experience in the gambling treatment diversion court and how they can help the future participants. So a wide variety of benefits, not just financial, but for the individual, for their families, and obviously for the government and the community in general. And what's great about courts in the United States rather than in other countries is that American courts are well ahead of their time in establishing specialty courts. So certainly we want to integrate and very, very strong similarities and best practices with drug courts and other specialty courts. In Las Vegas, we have veterans courts, mental health courts, and with the co-occurring disorders and giving gambling court the more specialized type of court, certainly integration and similarities and best practices are super important. And if you're judges that might think that it's too costly or too much to set up a court, the Nevada GTDC court's already been established. So we have the tools, we have the paperwork, we have the training, we have the trainers, we're able to educate, and that's my focus, my goal, not that I'm retired, is to spread the word and educate and show that our Nevada court, how successful it is, and that more courts are needed in all the other states where gambling is prevalent. We don't have many gambling courts now. I'm not the original one. The very first one was in tribute to the late Judge Mark Farrell, who had one, and he ran that for over a decade in Amherst, New York. But the court became inactive, so now Nevada has the only active gambling court in the United States and I believe the world. And why we don't have any now is because not many people are aware that such a court could exist and that it can be run successfully. From a more broader perspective, I think the judiciary would be open to maybe legislators changing the legislative laws to provide for statutory mandated diversion for people who come through gambling court. Like I said, I give the example of sometimes a disordered gambler has never ever been arrested in their whole life, and then they find themselves in deep trouble. And going through the diversion court would certainly save lives. I mean, that's the whole idea of the GTDC court, and that's to save lives. In Nevada, like in most states where there's a council on problem gambling or compulsive gambling, there are trained certified problem gambling counselors, and each state will have their own training, and also through the National Council on Problem Gambling will provide those trainings and certifications. There's also the international certification, and when we refer out to our cases for the treating provider, typically we would prefer the certified problem gambling counselor to do the treatment. And in Nevada, we have an extensive network. The Evergreen Council has an extensive network of providers. And so this is the criminal justice system working with the problem gambling treatment system and coordinating and communicating. Our Nevada Council on Problem Gambling is our community provider. And so each council in each state should be supportive and be the ones to help provide the referral network of who can treat some of the defendants and the participants that come through the Gambling Treatment Diversion Court. And so it is definitely a symbiotic relationship. In closing, I would say that the Gambling Treatment Diversion Court is a new wave. It's a new revolution. And I strongly believe in it, that this will go viral. And we have to start somewhere. We started in New York, and it took years, and we started in Nevada. We've had it in operation for 2 years. We are working on a legislation in the state of New Jersey, and hopefully they will get gambling treatment diversion courts up and running, whether it's a permanent program or a pilot program, like in New Jersey, a pilot program, and communicating with other states in terms of establishing gambling treatment diversion courts. And I would like to see that become a regular thing in terms of whether integrated with the drug courts, and also being able to have it as a standalone court. But I think it's beneficial because of the explosion of sports betting, online gaming, the gaming expansion. I think the numbers may go up. And if the numbers go up, then we need more programs to go up. And this is one such program I truly believe in that needs to be established in gaming states because of the impact of the potential of gambling being more available to everyone. And we want to do prevention, but we also want to treat it and hopefully get people back to healthy recovery and healthy lives.